How's it going, guys? Alex here. Welcome back to another SSR Analysis video, and today I'm going to be taking a look at every single Ultimate Gohan currently in the game, and I have a question for you guys. Do you want these videos to be with a face cam or without the face cam? I'm kind of switching between the two just so I have a better idea of what you guys want. So let me know in the comment section down below as always, but I hope you guys are having a great day, and if you do enjoy today's video, consider leaving a like and subscribing if you are new. But let's go ahead and get started with the Agility Ultimate Gohan. His leader skill gives a 70% attack boost to agility types. He causes supreme damage and has a rare chance to stun the enemy. Of course, this rare chance is around a 15 to 20% chance. His passive skill gives him a 80% attack boost when ki is 6 or more. And if we move on to his key links, he has Saiyan Warrior Race, his Saiyan Lineage, Infighter, Shocking Speed, Power Slow by God, Fierce Battle, and of course, taking a look at the categories, he is in the Hybrid Saiyan category. And of course, if you have the STR Ultimate Gohan, you aren't going to be able to run him, unfortunately. But he also has the Majin Buu Saga, which, again, you're most likely not going to run him if you have the STR Ultimate Gohan. But if you don't have the STR Ultimate Gohan, he is going to be a somewhat decent fit for that team. But again, Super Vegito doesn't have the Shocking Speed link for whatever reason, so he may struggle here and there when it comes to certain rotations, but for the most part, he is a pretty solid unit all around. Of course, his 12 key multiplier is also 130%, which is probably one of the lower 12 key multipliers in the game, especially for a Transcended Ultra Rare. But the good thing is that his super attack is now farmable thanks to the Tournament of Power event, and obviously if you pull the TEQ Ultimate Gohan, you can also feed the 50% chance into this one in particular, and, well, all the other ones as well. But the bad thing about the Ultimate Gohans in general is just simply that they don't share that many attack links with the majority of the other units. Granted, they do have Fierce Battle, which is going to be the main attack link, but they are missing out on the Super Saiyan link. So you can see where certain units may struggle when it comes to their attack, just simply because you have to run the Gohan, who doesn't have Super Saiyan, but he does have Fierce Battle. But then you do have some of the other Ultimate Gohans that make up for not having those particular attack links with other super attack mechanics. So, of course, his main attack link is going to be the Fierce Battle link, which he shares with the majority of the other Transcended Ultra Rares in the game. But he also has Power Slow by God, which he could potentially share with Super Vegito. And the good thing about the Agility Super Vegito is that he does have Shocking Speed at the very least. And when it comes to the categories, like I mentioned before, he isn't necessarily going to be doing much on your Hybrid Saiyan team, because if you are running this team in particular, you most likely have the STR Ultimate Gohan. But when it comes to the Majin Buu Saga team, again, STR Ultimate Gohan is there, but if you don't have him, you could potentially put him in there, but that team is kind of all over the place when it comes to key link, just because they did kind of trash Super Vegito when it came to his key links in particular. But overall, pretty solid unit if you don't have too many other options, and you can always run support units to just support units like Gohan and the units that don't share too many key links with each other. But now, moving on to the TEQ Ultimate Gohan, who I actually showcased recently, and if you haven't seen that video already, I will leave it in the description down below. But his leader skill gives a 20% health and attack boost to all types. He causes supreme damage and has a rare chance to stun, so far he is pretty similar to the agility types when it comes to his super attack, obviously. Not the exact same leader skill, because obviously if he was to have the same leader skill, it would be TEQ 70% attack, but obviously it's slightly different. But he honestly has the worst leader skill out of the two already. But his passive gives 2 ki to himself, as well as a 70% attack boost when HP is 50% or above. His links are Saiyan, Warrior Race, Shocking Speed, Power Slow by God, Infighter, the Saiyan Lineage. Categories: Hybrid Saiyans, Majin Buu Saga, 12 key multiplier of 140%, so that is a 10% increase from the previous Ultimate Gohan. And he also has a 20% chance to stun on super attack, and again, like all the Ultimate Gohans, he does have a farmable super attack thanks to the Universal Survival Lock event. So the thing about this one in particular is that he does not have the Fierce Battle link, so despite having a better 12 key multiplier, he just isn't going to be hitting as hard as the Agility Ultimate Gohan. And if I'm not mistaken, the Ultimate Gohan, or the Agility Ultimate Gohan, gets an 80% attack boost anyway, so generally he's just going to be hitting harder despite having that lower 12 key multiplier, because of course Agility Ultimate Gohan, 80% attack and the Fierce Battle link as well. It's not to say that the TEQ one doesn't have potential, because he definitely does have the potential to be a better unit, but from what we've seen about the upcoming World Tournament on JP, I don't believe that any units or any of the World Tournament units are going to be getting rebirths, which is a bit of a shame, because this unit has been out on both versions of the game for quite a while now. So it would be nice to see certain World Tournament units or World Tournament rewards actually awaken and just improve, because I can easily see them getting rid of that restriction on the Ultimate Gohan. Probably keep the key, but just knock the attack boost that he gets to around 90% and keep the 12 key multiplier the same. I don't know if that would put him above the Agility Ultimate Gohan, but it definitely would put them on equal terms for the most part. There wouldn't be too much of a difference between them, basically. But I do believe that the Agility ones have a higher attack stat, just simply because he is a Transcended Ultra Rare. But then when this one eventually does awaken, I hope, of course, his attack stat is going to be higher as well. But again, like the Agility Ultimate Gohan, he honestly, I want to say that this one actually fits better just because he gets the key to himself. But then the issue is that he isn't going to be providing any key to your other units. He'll be providing key to himself, so he isn't going to have any issue super attacking. But when it comes to the units that are, you know, alongside him, that is where he could potentially encounter a few issues, and especially when it comes to attack links, because he doesn't have Fist Battle, which again is the main attack link for the majority of the teams. And now moving on to the INT type, which honestly has a ton of, like, he legit has the most potential out of every single one here, and of course I will go over that in a few moments. So his leader skill gives free key to INT types as well as a 3000 attack boost. He greatly raises attack and causes supreme damage. His passive skill gives him 5 key as well as a 10,000 attack boost when key is 7 or more. His link skills are, Saiyan, Warrior Race, the Saiyan lineage, Infighter, Shocking Speed, Power Slow by God, Fierce Battle, categories, again, Hybrid Saiyans, and the Margin Boost Saga. His 12 key multiplier is 140%, and a huge attack boost that he gets from a super attack mechanic, I believe that's what it's referring to, is a 30% attack link, attack increase rather. And of course he does also have a farmable super attack like the previous Ultimate Gohans. So like we saw quite recently, the Agility Super Saiyan 3 Goku actually Extreme Z awakens, and when he did that, he literally turns into an absolutely phenomenal unit. It's not to say that he wasn't that great prior to the Extreme Z awakening, but he certainly wasn't as usable as he once was. But now on the Super Saiyan 3 team, he is an absolute beast. On a Majin Vegeta team and such, like, that Extreme Z awakening alone just made him so much more usable than what he previously was. And the same can be said for Ultimate Gohan. Of course, if he does get that Extreme Z awakening to him, that leader skill is easily going to change into the Buhan leader skill, which of course is the free key to INT types as well as a 70% stat boost. He will most likely keep that greatly raising attack, which of course is a Kaioken mechanic, and that's why I mentioned earlier that certain units have super attack mechanics that make up for the fact that they don't necessarily have too many attack links. Obviously, your other units are still going to suffer when it comes to attack links because the Ultimate Gohans don't have Super Saiyan, but units like this Ultimate Gohan in particular that do have a Kaioken type mechanic will make up for that loss of damage with this. So greatly raises attack, Kaioken mechanic, of course, because of the way that this mechanic works now. It doesn't reset after every single phase change. Supreme damage, and that is most likely going to change into immense, and I would imagine that the passive is going to change slightly as well, maybe just a higher flat out increase, or that could potentially actually change into a percentage, or maybe, because we have seen that before with the physical Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. He went from a flat out attack increase to all of your allies for percentage increase, and now he is easily one of the best support units in the game. So they could definitely do that to the Ultimate Gohan's passive, but in my head, what I think they're going to do is give him immense, or at the very least just keep supreme but change the passive into a percentage increase, or just give him immense and then give him a flat out attack increase but raise it obviously and give him a defensive increase as well, because that is what they did with the Agility Super Saiyan 3 Goku. You know what, let me know in the comment section down below what you think they are going to do with this Ultimate Gohan. But you know what, let me know in the comment section down below who you think is going to be next, because I've seen a few people say that's going to be Cell, and that honestly makes the most sense because they are just going through the types in order. Obviously Agility was first, so it makes sense that TEQ is next, right? So I'm definitely curious to see what they do with the Cell, because he's pretty underrated, and honestly Extreme Tech does need that. But back to the INT Ultimate Gohan, of course his damage potential is much higher than the previous two, and that obviously comes down to the fact that he does have the Kaioken type mechanic. He does have a flat out increase, which of course isn't as good as the percentage increases, pardon me, but you have to take into account as well that units like Ultimate Gohan, Full Power Frieza, Agility Super Saiyan 3 Goku and such have the ability to potentially Extreme Z awaken in the future. But let's just talk about what's currently possible now. They have, or Ultimate Gohan in particular, easily has the best potential system increases out of any unit in the game, alongside Agility Super Saiyan 3 Goku, Full Power Frieza and such. And I've said this multiple times before, and that is one of the reasons why the STR Gogeta has legit legendary rare stats. It's because of how many ability system buffs they actually get over other units. So if you were to 100% this Gohan in the potential system, he wouldn't get as many, well, he wouldn't benefit as much in terms of his attack, just simply because he does have a flat out increase, but he is still going to be one of the most powerful units in the game just because of how significant those increases are in comparison to other units. And again, it's not to say that it couldn't potentially change in the future, because he could very well get a percentage increase with the Extreme Z awakening, but overall absolutely incredible unit. Again, like the previous Ultimate Gohan, he does give the key to himself, so he is going to have absolutely no issues super attacking consistently. And if you want to raise his attack with every single super attack, obviously you do want to keep him in rotation, but at the moment it's kind of hard just because there are superior units at the moment. But who knows, in the future he may end up being an optimal unit. And now, of course, moving on to the leader of the Hybrid Saiyans category, he gives free key to a Hybrid Saiyans category, as well as a 170% health and defensive boost, and a 130% attack boost. He raises his own attack, so of course he does have that Kaioken type mechanic, like the previous Ultimate Gohan, and he causes immense damage. So that is the difference, the biggest difference between the two so far, and the fact that he also has a 12 key multiplier of 150%. His passive skill gives him a 120% attack boost at the start of the turn, and he also gives a 50% defensive boost to all your super type allies, and he also has a medium chance to guard all attacks. If you move on to his link skills, he has All in the Family, the Saiyan Lineage, Z Fighters, Infighter, Shocking Speed, Power Bestowed by God, and Fierce Battle. And of course his categories, Hybrid Saiyans, as well as the Majin Buu Saga. And like I briefly mentioned, if you have this STR Ultima Gohan, of course you're going to be running him over the other ones, but he is the lead for the category. None of the others are leads for any categories at all. But of course he does have that Kaioken mechanic, which is something that people tend to overlook just because he already hits that hard anyway. Causes immense damage, 12 key multiply of 150%, gets 120% attack boost, and again, like the other ones, he doesn't have the greatest attack links, but he does have the main one, which of course is Fierce Battle. And like the other ones, he may struggle in certain teams just because he doesn't necessarily share too many key links with certain units. And the thing about the Hybrid Saiyan team in particular, which I will probably go over in a separate video, is the fact that you do need particular units to make it run efficiently. So if you don't have those particular units, of course the legendary rares, you could struggle here and there, but if you have the optimal scenario, it's easily one of the best teams in the game. When it comes to the Majin Buu Saga team, because Super Vegito doesn't have Shocking Speed for whatever reason, you could potentially struggle with key links when it comes to this STR Ultimate Gohan on the Majin Buu Saga team. It wasn't so much of an issue with the N-type and the Tech type because they do give key to themselves, but for the most part, if you have a decent amount of support units, just one every single turn, it hopefully won't be that much of an issue to super attack, but you can definitely see where some issues start to arise when it comes to the key links if you do want to run certain units. And of course, the physical Ultimate Gohan, he was actually the winner of my initial Ultimate Gohan video, and if you haven't seen that already, we'll leave that in the description as well. It's crazy to see how much like these units have evolved and how certain spots have changed. Of course, you don't know the results so far, even though one of them is pretty obvious. But the point is, physical Ultimate Gohan, leader skill gives free key to all types, causes supreme damage, and raises his own attack for 3 turns. He has a 12 key multiplier of 145%. He gets an 80% attack boost when health is 30% or above. And if we move on to his links, he has All in the Family, the Saiyan Lineage, Kamehameha, Shocking Speed, Power Bestowed by God, Supreme Power, and the Fierce Battle link. And of course, categories Hybrid Saiyans and Majin Buu Saga. I think I've basically spoke about the categories, well enough, but he was easily one of the best leader skills, or he had one of the best leader skills back when he was released, just because there weren't too many Rainbow leads. Obviously, units like Turles gave the free key to all types as well. Ultimate Gohan, very few units did that, which is what made him one of the best units in the game. Obviously, he had Gogeta as well, but if you didn't have Super Gogeta, he was probably the unit that you would go to if you wanted to run a Rainbow team, which were the best teams in the game back then. But he does cause supreme damage and raises his attack for 3 turns. Now, there is a bit of a difference when it comes to this super attack mechanic in particular. It is somewhat similar to the Kaioken mechanic, but for it to work efficiently, you legit need to be super attacking consistently. So if you were to put him in the 3rd slot, this wouldn't work out too well. But when it comes to his links, again, he does have Fierce Battle, which is his main attack link, and he will make up for the lack of Super Saiyan with his damage output. And the restriction is kind of annoying, but on a physical type team, it shouldn't be so much of an issue because, of course, you have Vegito Blue that can tank hits relatively well. LR Trunks, of course, but his main issue when it comes to the physical type team is Shocking Speed, which next to no units on that team share unless you're running particular units. But like I stated before, if you were to run a support unit like the physical Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, he'd also give the key, if I'm not mistaken, and a 30% attack and defensive boost, I want to say. And when it comes to the categories as well, he just isn't going to be fitting that well. Well, he will be fitting well depending on the setup that you run, but he doesn't give the key to himself like the Tech and the INT ones, so there can be certain situations where he could potentially struggle. But this one will always be dear to my heart just because he was my very first Ultimate Gohan and just one of my very first SSRs in the game, period. But I definitely do have a soft spot in my heart for this Gohan, and hopefully in the future he could potentially get an Extreme Z Awakening. And I'm not too certain if I mentioned this already, but he does have a 12 key multiplier of 145%, which obviously is one of the best 12 key multipliers here. And overall, absolutely phenomenal unit. Okay, now we have reached the final part of the video, and now I'm going to ask you guys, again, do you want to see these videos with the face cam or without the face cam? Let me know in the comment section down below. And if you have made it to this point in the video, I want you guys to let me know in the comment section down below which Ultimate Gohan is your favorite. And please remember that this is just simply my opinion, so if you do disagree with me, please try to be civil and just respond in a manner that is debatable, but not like completely like, just blowing out of proportion. So in the last slot, honestly, the Agility Gohan slightly edges it over the Tech type. He is in the last slot, but honestly, I believe that if the Tech type gets a rebirth, he could potentially be above the Agility type just because of what he provides to himself with the key. And the reason why I am putting the Agility type above the Tech one is just simply because he gets the bigger attack increase. He doesn't have the superior 12 key multiplier, but things like the Fierce Battle Link, sharing shocking speed with Super Vegito and Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, and potentially one more unit on that Agility type team, just makes him slightly superior. And like I said before, if you have that Hybrid Saiyan team with the correct units, he works a little bit better on that team as well. I will say that the Tech type works better on a Majin Buu Saga team just because he does give the key to himself, but overall, I think the Agility type does edge it slightly. So in the 5th spot, of course, we have the Tech type, and in the 4th slot, we have the Agility type. In 3rd place, I am going to have to put my boy, the Physical Ultimate Gohan, just simply because he doesn't have a Kaioken mechanic that the N-type does. And if you're going off the teams that are currently relevant, obviously Physical, Shocking Speed, nowhere near, like, just nowhere to be seen when it comes to a Physical type team. The Gohan doesn't give the key to himself either, which sucks. And of course, in the 2nd spot, we have the Intelligence Ultimate Gohan. Honestly, I think one of the biggest factors here is the fact that he does, have that Kaioken type mechanic. He does have a flat-out increase, but at the very least, he is key sufficient. You share Shocking Speed with potentially 2 units on that N-type team, which are Ultimals, so that is one of the reasons why I kind of gave it to him. But again, key sufficient, which means that he's going to be fitting much better than the Physical one on a Majin Buu Saga team. Obviously, you aren't going to be using him on a Hybrid Saiyan team like the other Ultimate Gohans if you have an STR Ultimate Gohan. And you also have to take into account that the potential system gives him the biggest increases out of any unit here. But of course, in the number 1 spot, to the surprise of no one, we have the STR Ultimate Gohan, who is the category lead for the Hybrid Saiyans. He has a Kaioken type mechanic, immense damage, 120% attack boost, 12 key multiply, 150%. He was always going to be a very hard unit to, take out of that number 1 spot, but he was basically guaranteed to win this. But I thought I should include him anyway, just for the sake of adding him. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video as always, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next one.